Base Network. Welcome in everybody here on this Wednesday night here on Facebook Live. Got a pretty good show for you here tonight. I was pretty good on my predictions last week, so we'll take a look at that, and I'll make some picks on some big football games in the Philadelphia area coming up for this weekend, so don't go away for that. Also, as you can see, I'm wearing pink in honor of Cancer Awareness Month here in October, and we have a very special feature put together by our own Caitlin Drapesky about a very special fundraiser held by Phoenixville High School, and we'll also tell you about what's coming up here on the Sports Fan Base Network. Stay tuned for another edition of Varsity Voice presented by SFBN. Talking about one final thought. Let's get a big, bold prediction. Welcome back in here to Varsity Voice presented by SFBN. I'm your host, Ari Bluestein. Thank you again for joining me here on this Wednesday night. Well, if you watched last week's edition of Varsity Voice, I made some predictions on some top football games in the Philadelphia area, and well, I was 5-1, not too shabby. And taking a look at the games that I did predict correctly, North Penn defeated CB South pretty handily, by the way. Pennsbury knocked off Ben Salem in a nice little Bucks County rivalry. Garnet Valley in a tough game defeats Haverford High. Northeast over Simon Gratz in a big Philadelphia Public League battle. And then in a non-league game, Imhotep Charter defeated the Haverford School. The only game that I missed on was Newman Goretti did defeat West Catholic in a Philadelphia Catholic League game. And Newman Goretti proved me wrong. They had a couple of tough takes early in the season, but maybe they're trying to get their stuff together now and beat a very good West Catholic team. But I would imagine these two are going to meet probably yet again in the Philadelphia Catholic League 2A championship. So 5-1 last week. So let's see what I'm able to do here in terms of this week. So let's take a look at some of the big games, and we'll start off in the Pioneer Athletic Conference, the Pac-10. Doesn't get much bigger than this in terms of rivalry for that conference. Perkiomen Valley at Spring Ford, and that's going to be on Friday night, and that's going to be a game that will be carried on television locally in that area. That's how big that game is. And for my pick, I'm going to go with Perk Valley. They were a team that we saw earlier this year on SFBN when they knocked off Upper Dublin. Very high-powered offense. Defense is okay. They've faced some tough teams. They only had one loss this year so far. Springford, a very good team. They actually just creeped up into the back end of the top 25 in the Philadelphia Inquirer. So this is not going to be an easy game by any means. It's a huge rivalry. It's at Springford, so Perk Valley has some serious work to do. But I'm going to go with the Vikings in this game, in this Pac-10 matchup. Big rivalry in the Chestmont League. Downingtown West at Downingtown East. And this is always a big game. Anytime the two Downingtowns get together, or Coatesville as well. You can mix in Coatesville because they are pretty close to Downingtown. But Downingtown East is a top 5 team in the Philadelphia Inquirer. This has been a very good program. Downingtown West has kind of been on the downswing a little bit over the last couple of years. East has been on the upswing, so I'm going with Downingtown East in this one. West, usually a very good program, but they have struggled a little bit this year. They're definitely not a bad team by any means, but I don't think they're at the Coatesville and Downingtown East type level. So I'm going with East in that big Chestmont matchup. Pretty good Suburban 1 matchup here. Penridge at CB West. Now, CB West is a team, both of these teams, by the way, are ranked in the top 25 in the Philadelphia Inquirer. But Penridge is my pick here, and the Rams and Coach Jeff Hollenbach, such a strong team. Their only losses this year, well, one was the North Penn. I actually can't remember their other loss right now. I believe they're 3-2, but you're talking about a very good football team. CB West is pretty good as well. I think probably CB South is the best out of the Central Bucks teams. We'll get to them in just a moment. But I'm going to go with Penridge. They're on the road, and this is a big test for them against the good CB West Bucks team, but I'm sticking with the Penridge Rams. Going down to another Suburban 1 battle here. The Chamonix, the Skins, at CB South, the Titans. And Neshaminy has been a little bit up and down this year. These are two teams that are in the Inquirer Top 25. So we're talking about two quality football teams. Neshaminy, always good at home in Heartbreak Ridge over there in Langhorne. I mean, that's just a really tough place to win. On the road, they're a good team, but they're not the same team. And I think CB South is going to take this one. They had a really tough loss to North Penn last week. I think CB South bounces back and gets a good win over Neshaminy. But what a schedule for CB South. They got to go North Penn, Neshaminy, back-to-back. Pretty tough, whoever made that schedule. But I'm giving CB South the win at home. Okay, our last two games are actually our SFBN Games of the Week. We're going to remind you about them a little bit later in the program. But Valley Forge Military Academy at Bristol. These are two small school games. You're talking about the BAL, the Bicentennial Athletic League. Bristol, 4-1 on the season. Their lone loss is to New Hope Soulbury, who is by far the best team in that league and in that area in terms of small schools. We're talking about small schools right now. I believe Bristol is Class 2A, if I'm not mistaken. So they're 4-1. Solid team. They've had some solid wins. Then you have Valley Forge Military Academy. They're 0-6 so far. I'm going with Bristol in this one, but if you look at Valley Forge's record at 0-6, a little bit misleading. They do play a pretty good schedule. This is usually a team that has a bunch of new players coming in every year, so it takes a while for them to gel. So this mid-season matchup could be what gets Valley Forge Military Academy going. They actually almost beat Delco Christian 21-17 last week. So this could be a team that is ripe for their first win, but Bristol's at home. Under the Friday night lights, I'm going with the Bristol Warriors. They're already 4-1. They're the better squad right now. Then our other game, we actually have two games of the week this week. That one's Friday night. And by the way, all those games I mentioned, all Friday night, 7 p.m. This game, a Saturday afternoon matinee in Norristown. Another Pioneer Athletic Conference matchup, Methacton at Norristown. Now you take a look at these teams, Methacton 0-6, Norristown 1-5. So why is SFBN carrying this game? Well, I'll tell you why. These are two teams that want to get a win and they want to kind of maybe make a move to get into the playoff picture a little bit. Now, this is going to be a very competitive game. These are two teams that are basically on the same level. Norristown, their lone win was a 10-9 win over Plymouth White Marsh. A very impressive win, actually, because PW is not a bad squad by any means. I'm going with Norristown at home. I'm going with the Eagles here over Methacton. Methacton, they've had some close calls, but Norristown, they're 1-5. They're at home. You know, they're at their home stadium there on Eagle Road in Norristown, PA. I'm going with Norristown in this one, but should be a very competitive game. And both those games, Valley Forge and Bristol and Methacton and Norristown, can be seen right here on Facebook Live on Friday night and Saturday, respectively. So those are my predictions. Perk Valley, Downingtown East, Penn Ridge, CB South, Bristol, and Norristown. So went 5-1 last week. We'll see how I do next week. You'll have to tune in to Varsity Voice next week to see how I did. Or, of course, you can check your results wherever you can find them, either on the SFBN website. We've got a great website with a lot of great content, the SFBN.com, or other outlets as well. So we're going to take a timeout, and when we come back, we're going to tell you about a very special fundraiser run by Phoenixville Area High School. We're going to tell you about that next when we come back here on Varsity Voice, presented by SFBN.
Hi, I'm Tommy Green, former pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. When I was in high school, it was very important to me to show scouts what I could do. My friends at Payroll Service Solutions are huge supporters of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you're a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866-PAY-EASY.
Welcome back to Varsity Voice, presented by SFBN here on Facebook Live. Phoenixville High School is a school that we just recently got involved in, and we really established a great relationship with the Pioneer Athletic Conference. We broadcast one of their games against Upper Perk. Great game, a lot of fun, Friday night, September 22nd. And we'll be covering, again, our second Pioneer Athletic Conference game coming up on Saturday with Methacton and Norristown. So, it was great to really get to know a lot of these athletic directors. And when I had a chance to talk to Matt Gianta, the AD over at Phoenixville High School, talking about this great fundraiser, Play for the Cure. Great opportunity for SFBN to get involved. And obviously, leading into October, Cancer Awareness Month, this fundraiser raises money for cancer research. It's really spearheaded by the girls' tennis team at Phoenixville High School. It starts with a tennis tournament in August where they start to raise some money, have some events between then and the football game that I just mentioned when Phoenixville hosted Upper Perk. And then the girls' tennis team presented a relating cancer research organization with a check at halftime of that game. So it was a great event. The tennis tournament was a great event. We were there. Our own Caitlin Drapesky was there reporting. And then, of course, we were there broadcasting the game on September 22nd, just a couple of weeks ago. So take a look now, more on the Play for the Cure, hosted by Phoenixville High School.
So we're here today for the Play for the Cure tournament. It goes all to the Cancer Center at Phoenixville Hospital. Basically, we have 4 teams. We have North Penn High School, Glen and Mercy Academy, and Ville Marie Academy, and Phoenixville High School, which I am from. And we have all the teams come and compete, and at the end of the day, we give out trophies, and it's a really great time. But the goal of the tournament is to raise money for the Cancer Center, as I said, at Phoenixville Hospital. The money basically goes to any cancer patients who can't either pay their bills or get groceries or anything like that very normal stuff that most people can afford, that they're having a tough time going through.
Well, this year, our girls have put a ton of work already into the tournament. They had a car wash last week that raised over $800, so already we're off to a good start. They're very involved. They have basket raffles going, and they're going to continue to collect money from the community. This means a lot to me to be able to host this tournament. I played 10 years ago as a senior, and I ran the tournament then. And it was so much fun to playing it and to be able to host it, but now as a coach, I get to see my senior girls hosting it, and it's so rewarding.
Mostly, we went out to the community to ask for sponsorship or donations from them. So, for example, me and Sam went downtown before the tournament even started and asked for any donations for raffle items or money in general so we can run the tournament itself. The team didn't go out with us, but they helped us run the whole tournament, so they were super involved. And additionally, we ran a car wash, and the team was a huge help. We raised like $800, and it was so awesome, such a fun experience, great team bonding, and of course, we raised a ton of money to start off the season.
This year, I see the most amount of money being raised probably ever, because they're just really active about it, and they're passionate about it, and they really want to give a great donation.
Turkey out in 0. With a 14-play, 81-yard drive for the fan out.
And I'm really proud of my girls, not only the seniors that are hosting it, but our whole team that's involved.
Hi, I'm Marty Bystrom, former pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies. In my experience in Major League Baseball, I know how important it is for high school athletes to gain exposure. My friends at Payroll Service Solutions are huge supporters of high school sports and the Sports Fan Base Network. If you are a small to medium-sized business in need of a payroll company, contact Payroll Service Solutions. Not only will they take care of you, they will continue to support the community. For more information, contact Payroll Service Solutions at 215-624-0922 or 866-PAY-EASY.
Hey, you.
Who, me?
Yes, you. You like pro sports?
Yeah.
You like college sports?
Of course.
You like high school sports?
I guess.
Maybe you just don't know much about them.
Hey, voice in the sky.
Huh?
Where can I go to learn more about Philadelphia area high school athletics?
Just watch Varsity Voice every Wednesday on Facebook Live at 7 p.m.
Welcome back to Varsity Voice presented by SFBN. I again want to thank Matt Gianta over at Phoenixville High School and everybody involved with Play for the Cure for really putting together a great event and welcoming in our crew for the broadcast and for the tennis tournament as well in August. So I hope you enjoyed that and thank you very much for, again, giving us the opportunity. We have some great shows coming up, and if you're not familiar with what SFBN programming has kind of expanded to, then you're missing out. We've got on Monday nights In the Trenches, the only high school football talk show in the state of Pennsylvania that covers all 12 districts. They just do a great job. Richie Bleiweiss is the host. Mike Palmer and Corey Sharp are the co-hosts and the analysts. Do a great job. That's every Monday night, so make sure you tune in to In the Trenches. Then tomorrow night, on every Thursday, we have our Pennsylvania State High School Soccer Show called In the Goal with our host, Steven Schreiber, and then our co-host and analyst, Jack Kapp, and Archbishop Ryan's boys soccer head coach, Ryan Haney. So In the Goal on Thursday. So, and also Varsity Voice, obviously, every Wednesday. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But in addition to all the shows, we have great broadcasts, especially with high school football. We've got some great ones. I mentioned it in my predictions. Valley Forge Military Academy at Bristol, a great small school game coming up on Friday night at 7 o'clock. Mike Samsel and Mike Palmer, yes, the same Mike Palmer who hosts In the Trenches, will have the call for you. Then on Saturday afternoon, a 2 p.m. matinee, Methacton at Norristown in a Pioneer Athletic Conference matchup. And we'll have Corey Clark and Mike Mataraki on the call for that game. And again, Varsity Voice will be coming up next Wednesday. And thanks to a great partnership with Philadfieldhockey.com, we've really had the opportunity to talk to great field hockey student athletes. We've had 2 different schools on. We're going to have our 3rd one on. And ironically, it's going to be Methacton. And I hope that they don't hate me for picking against their school in our game. Of course, it's just a show. It's just my opinion. But we're going to be happy to have them on the show next week on Varsity Voice. And also, Philafield Hockey has a game of the week, and part of our partnership is to provide video highlights for Philafield Hockey, and we've done it every week for the last, I guess it's like 4 or 5 weeks, and we've really had the great opportunity to see some great field hockey action in the Philadelphia area, one of the best areas for the sport of field hockey, both high school and college. So check out the latest highlights as we close out here on Varsity Voice from this past Tuesday afternoon. Penncrest at Strathaven, and Strathaven ended up winning 2-1 in a very well contested game. So check out those highlights on our way out, and thank you for watching, and make sure you tune in next Wednesday to Varsity Voice presented by SFBN here on Facebook Live. Have a great night.